What is going on, good people? What's happening? Happy Sunday night to everyone. Hopefully, your weekend has been a phenomenal weekend. Hopefully, you got a ton of family time. We here, we live, we back at it again, which means that we are black at it again. Tonight, we got an incredible guest. I cannot wait to dive in this conversation with my brother, someone I've known for a great deal. Truly a genuine brother, an incredible soul. I'll say more importantly than anything this man has done, and he's done a lot. And we'll get into going down this the repertoire of everything this man has accomplished. He's a dope brother, and I say that by meaning he is someone who is driven by purpose, not into popularity, is here to do the work, but at the same time, because of who he is, he shines, and it's a genuine shine. So without further ado, we got my brother Ise Lyfe in the building. What's going on, King?
What's up, man? Peace. I appreciate those words. I receive them humbly, and I'm glad to be on here with you, man.
Man, this is a long time coming, man. So just to give a little bit of a background. So when I first started the show, when I first was thinking about this idea of putting something like this together, I hit you, and I contacted you and like two other people that I hold near and dear to my heart. And I just said, I just want to let y'all know that I'm about to start a show, and I just want to have y'all support. And since then, I feel like I have been building to get to this point to where I know I can invite you on at any given time, but I wanted to feel confident enough in my ability to have something that is sustainable, but also to get to a point to where I can talk to you about something in a time period that I felt like will be most genuine. So, here we are.
So I want to say that you're worthy out the gate of all the great stuff that you're building, and I'm just happy to see you doing it. And I'm with you at whatever phase that it's in, and it's inspiring to see anybody, set an idea forward and then really do it.
Yeah,
So bless you, and like I said, I'm honored for real.
man. Well, I
And
appreciate
you
it, bro.
had
This.
about two more to do without calling me before I was finished. That was my limit. My limit was two. Two more. Two more. And I was
Two
going to
more.
start battle raps with any guest you had on after
Oh,
that.
oh no. Well,
I'm,
then
I'm,
it's a
I'm
good.
joking.
It's a good thing that we connected now, man. But no, for real, bro. I'm fortunate. I feel like it's a lot of people that I know, and it's a lot of folks that I'm inspired by, and I know that like they are in hands reach where I can like, if I don't know them, I know somebody that know them. I can get in contact with them. We can build a rapport and go from there. And you've always been somebody that I've definitely been inspired by. Just been in awe of some of the moves that you've been able to do. And I wanted to just like I said, man, just build it up to a point to where like I know what I'm doing. I can have a quick groove, and we can get into it. So let's go ahead and do just that, man. I think there's so many different levels in which we can kind of start this conversation. But before we get into everything that you've been involved in as of late, I want to get back to a point in time where you saw that there was an opportunity for you to be not only someone who is a part of our culture in different avenues, whether it is poetry or hip hop or being an MC, but also someone that still will have a connection to our community, but then have the mindset to like, this is the business. We can turn this into something where we can create opportunities for other folks. Like, how did all that come together for you? And was that something that was a work in progress, or did you always have like that in the back of your mind?
I appreciate that question, man. I think whatever we decide to do in business should be an organized version of our spiritual self.
Okay.
And so the I started becoming politicized um, when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, around the same time that I started working for one of the biggest hip hop labels in the country. And
Mm-hmm.
so, right alongside of my political development, starting to understand the root causes of why and I'm from Oakland. A big part of it is the coming up in that, like if you're from LA, you're gonna know somebody that's maybe worked on a movie set. You from
Mm-hmm.
Oakland, you're gonna know somebody that was a Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up really influenced by that culture there in Oakland. And at the same time that my political dynamic was evolving as a young organizer, so was my business and what I
Mm-hmm.
was building. And they kind of just went hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
What I started to see was a really brilliant way that poisonous ideas were being marketed to our communities. Is dark but still brilliant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I never was like, how do I turn uh advocacy or social justice into business. That has always been kind of a gross notion to me. I think
Mm-hmm.
that I really was thinking about how do I build art and business that can be a direct response to everything they were slamming us with. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s in the middle of a crack epidemic. I'm coming of age in the early 2000s. And so all of that was what sent me on a trajectory. Some of it I realized, some of it I didn't. And,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just blessed that it worked out.
Man, to say the least, man, I think some of us have the experience of like we may be in a part of like a time where like this was like a cool opportunity, and I had a moment in life where I did X, Y, and Z. Where like for you, I would say there could have been a time where you could have just like hung your hat on, not only being a part of Def Jam, but also being someone who was world renowned in your poetry, and being someone that was, a major feature on HBO Def Poetry. And then boom, there I put my hat on that, and then that's you know what I mean, like that's what it is. But you've been able to evolve in a way to where like every step that you have taken since then has been a stepping stone that makes that last step look like that was lightweight compared to like what I'm doing right now. And
I
and
appreciate you saying
that is something that is so incredible to me, man. I've been a part of a lot of different avenues of things that you have done as far as like being someone in the audience and like being in support. So whether it is you giving a lecture, you giving a keynote speech at Black Grad for UCLA, you putting on a one-man show that lasts 2 hours. It's just you, and you putting this thing on, and you are captivating the audience in such a way, that we don't realize that we're there in that time period. To seeing some of the work that you've done, and whether it's with the Huffington Post or having interviews with Torre or wherever the case may be, it has all been like different like levels of this evolving in the sense. It's like, man, this is powerful. The key thing that I realized with all these things that you've done, there has been a consistent commitment to the cause. There's never been a point where you have wavered in being committed to, there's an opportunity for us to lift up. As I'm lifting up, let me pull somebody else up as I'm coming along. There's an opportunity for us to use this as a way to help our community. And for me, that's powerful.
Thank you.
All those other things are incredible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay none of that, because all that is like incredible. The unwavering commitment that you have shown to me has been like the most powerful thing and the most genuine thing that I greatly appreciate about you.
Wow.
And it's been incredible to see it, and to still be at an arm's length where I can like actually touch it
Yeah.
and feel like that energy, man. That's, to me, has been powerful, bro. And I don't I don't want to take that lightly, bro, because not everyone's built like that. What has been the thing that's like kept like your commitment towards like community? Because you know how it is out here, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes we pour our all into something and be like, all right, I tried, man. I'm done with you. I got to go do what I got to do. We call
Yeah.
that self-care
Yeah.
now, right?
I appreciate the compliment and the question, man. So I don't believe that spirits, and I believe that we're all spirit and energy. And I don't believe that spirits have a race or a gender.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at the back of my hand and go, well, why did God put me in this experience?
Mm-hmm.
What do these people need? And that forever binds you to the plight and the glory, because it's a privilege to be us.
Yeah, yeah.
So it binds you to that. You get the benefit, but you also get the benefit of the struggle, even if you was a pilgrim, or excuse me, if you was a white person. So you born as a pilgrim, you born as a white person. What do them people need? It's obvious that if you born white, your job is to end the treacherous onslaught that your people do to other people all around the world. That's why you're not white, so you can get a credit card. You
Right.
white because you there to hopefully, if you got any level of spiritual pursuit, you like shit, man. Being white mean I need to get us, and so on our side, it's like and then there's the intersection of those who come up, with all different types of culture and stuff going on. It's not just I think your racial background. I think it's if you were born wealthy into a wealthy situation, what do wealthy people need to be on? If you're
Mm-hmm.
born poor, what do poor people need to understand? If you're born a woman, so on and so on. So for me, that's been the thing. Because anybody who's ever made a commitment to your people, the hardest moments, the moments of the greatest betrayal in your life, the moments of the greatest disappointments in your life, the moments of the greatest fuck shit in your life is with your people.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's easy when you're 19, 20, you're like, yeah, my people. Yeah, and then, but that's for any people. When
Mm-hmm.
I holler at my folks that are not black folks that work with they folks, they gotta, and then what happens is for black people though, we learn to not forgive ourselves. Therefore, we love not to forgive our people. We hard
Mm.
on the individual, so
Mm-hmm.
we hard on the people, and we take it really personally. So for me, I feel married to the people, to our greatness. I feel married to what our folks need and what our folks need in this time. So I was born at the end of the 20th century. I became a man at the dawn of the 21st century, and I'll die at the dawn of the 22nd century.
Mm-hmm.
So what do our folks need in this moment in the
Mm-hmm.
millennium? And so that's to answer your question. That's what it's been for me, because it's not easy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a blessing and a privilege.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes one may feel more and more heavier than the other, and I'm sure it fluctuates, from time to time.
Yeah,
But still in all, like what has not fluctuated is like this commitment I've seen you have across the line, from every element of where you started when I first met you to where you are now. That is something that has always like been the most consistent thing that I've witnessed with you. And
that,
I know it's challenging.
yeah,
Okay. I know it's challenging. You know what I mean? I know sometimes it can get difficult. Sometimes you know, I talk to Ashley all the time. We have these real, heart to heart conversations about like you saying, forgiveness one, right? Forgiving first ourselves, but then also like our community, because we don't know what we don't know.
yeah,
And because I've learned something, I can't expect from someone else to know what I know,
yeah,
especially if I haven't taught them
yeah.
in a way that they can understand.
And doing what's right is harder than doing what's mediocre. Not what's
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but we live in America. I was talking to my mom about this today. Homeless people have cell phones and pets. That means you could like really be in a bad situation in America, and you could eat a whole meal for 99 cents. That's
Mm-hmm.
struggle in America.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start getting to, all right, maybe you're not homeless. Maybe you get a job that pay you $95,000 a year to work from home on a Zoom call, and you get direct deposit every 2 weeks. Now the itis, you know how when you eat a really big meal and you just kind of, now we induced, and
Yeah.
so then somebody walk up on you and go, man, let's be excellent, but they got a 70-inch flat screen being mediocre than a motherfucker.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the struggle.
Yeah.
That becomes the struggle. Those of us who came before us gave us a certain level of opportunity, but what came with that opportunity was to join the white mass of indifference.
Mm.
Most white people are indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really, burning a tiki torch and trying to kill you. Most white folks, and not just indifference about what's going on with black people, indifferent about what's going on with
General.
them,
In general.
with them, just indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
So a pitfall of a positive outcome of the civil rights movement is we got the opportunity not just to join taking a piss next to a white boy, drinking out a water fountain next to a white woman, going to school with our oppressor. We also got the opportunity to join white mediocrity,
Mm.
to not really have to earn. White people are to varying degrees free in this country. Most of them don't work on that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
They're not most in the military fighting for white freedom. They not running for office. They're not organizing to maintain the white power structure. They just wake up white mediocre and they get ran through the system. So
Right.
when we look at our I think we look at like the 60s, for example, with black people, and we think all black folks was in the street protest. It was like 10% of black people.
If that.
If that, because the same time you looking at real movement that's inspiring you, you looking at a real Negro exploitation film too.
Oh,
These things are happening side by side. They're happening side by side.
you
And
got
so
you
that's
got Huey and you got Dolomite.
yeah, that's right. At the same time,
Yeah.
at the same time, and so
Hey,
that's what we fighting against.
bro, that just reminded me of I remember going to the movies at 14 to go see uh what was the movie called? Now I'm blanking on the movie. I want to say Westwood, but it wasn't called Westwood. Anyway, the movie started Young Don Cheadle, Vin Brains, um, man, Rosewood. Boom, there we go.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Booty Call was out the same weekend
yeah, yeah, yeah,
as Rosewood.
yeah,
And the people my partners that I rode up to the movies with wanted to go see Booty Call. I was
yeah, yeah. Me too. But
oh
what's
man.
crazy is the actual real world struggle of Rosewood created a civil rights movement that created letting black people in the union so Jamie Foxx could make Booty Call.
Damn.
So like
That
that's
that
the so that,
oh
that's what we dealing with. So
yeah.
even now,
Yeah.
like when I look at the what was our issue 15 years ago? If you were dealing in any type of conscious cultural work, you had a critical analysis of hip hop and a lot of the content that was like fake black male power. So what was that? That was
Mm,
a black dude who was like talking about his gun and 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 how big his sexual organ was and how much money
right.
he would get.
Right.
And now it's the same song. It's just women singing.
Mm-hmm.
If you play a popular rap verse 15 years ago, first 10 seconds, I'm sorry, somebody penis is out and it's a gun and they get money. And now, as soon as I hear, you see it, as soon as I hear a woman's voice say that, I know next up it's going to be like how Bomber Poonie is and the money she getting. So they're just redressing the separation.
Mm-hmm.
But we do that and have that access based on the struggle. from
Mm.
yesteryear. So what we had to figure out is how do we, but also what I think is beautiful though, is this stuff that I used to be saying 15 years ago that was critical of the culture that would be irrelevant now. Because it is a lot of positive imagery out there. It is a lot of conversation about unity. I was
Right.
talking this shit before hashtags and Black Lives Matter.
Right.
When the Yin Yang twins was running the world with the sweat run down my body, I was talking then. And it was not the it just wasn't the what we were talking about was definitely being called alternative. And so I'm grateful for it to see where it's at.
Yeah, and but see there, I feel like not a but there still is opportunity from us still to learn from those aspects. I think another thing too, as you talk about like those times of, I'm thinking as you were talking, I'm going back to like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ain't Nothing But a G Thing video. I'm going back to Nelly's Tip Drill video. And like with those imageries that are out there, there is an opportunity from us to talk about where's the accountability piece, because as maybe the method that those who opposed that kind of imagery, the method of them like standing outside of like Sam Goody and Tower Records with the tractor as they like flattening down. You know what I mean? Like flattening down. Like that method was terrible.
They're the same type of relevant black leaders who bury the N-word.
Yeah.
So, like that's it.
You're right. So it's like that method is trash. The conversation, however, there needs to be a conversation about
critical.
Yes.
It has to be.
Yeah.
So to answer your first question, for me, when it wasn't that I found an opportunity like, oh, this is a void in business. Whatever material success that I have comes from to a degree. I would say it's probably a 20, 40, 40 split. 20 is the amount of music and books that I sold as an independent artist. The other 40 is in product development and the work that I do in the academy. And then the other 40 is in investments in real estate. But all of those, when I clear my throat, turn me up in the headphones, I'm finna talk some freedom shit right now. And when I'm in a boardroom, this board meeting finna be a freedom ass boardroom right now.
Right.
And when you applying to rent one of these apartments,
right.
I'm looking for the, Tanisha Jenkins. Cool. Let me see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caleb Sotomayor. We'll talk.
Right.
Caleb.
What's happening?
Let me be clear. I'm not discriminating in housing.
Right.
That's so it all informs however I've moved.
Right. Right. Man, and it's been a beautiful thing to see. One of the things too that that you now have lately embarked on is professorship. You're currently.
I just want to say, because I'm seeing the comments. Shout out to everybody in the comments. I want
hey, shout out to the comments, man. Y'all right on par with what we talking about, man. For real. Moving into a space of being someone who is a part of academia at a place like Stanford, by the way, you're not just, and it's nothing, let me phrase this in the proper way because there's nothing wrong. It'd have been dope if you would have been teaching at West LA. That'd have been dope.
Yeah.
You're at Stanford.
Yeah.
And with the pedigree and everything that comes along with like academy at Stanford, I know for a fact that who you are you don't walk into a room and put on this coat of let me code myself into fit into this room.
No.
You are yourself as you go into this classroom.
It's good morning, scholars. Fuck the police. Today. It's the same. It's the same, but I appreciate you knowing that. Yeah. But
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No,
No,
I
no,
think
no,
you
no.
know
Please
you
ask
was
me.
gonna
Go
answer.
ahead.
You
No,
was
no,
gonna
no,
answer.
no.
It's good. No, what I was gonna say was like, how has that been for you? Because I'm sure there are some who have been like, oh my God, I was not expecting this. And then there are other ones that are like, oh, this is what we need up here. Like, how's that experience been for you?
So, well, for me, over the how I started working like on college campuses was I was on the road and and touring, and we might sell out 1,500 seats or something, and the cheapest ticket was like $80. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing when my exhibits go up, like
Mm-hmm.
the museum want, 48.50
Mm-hmm.
to get in there. So, if everybody can't afford that or folks can't come, so what I started writing into the trailers were the riders, I'm sorry, were that I needed to they either needed to fund or sign off on or participate in me dipping to go do stuff on campuses, because what I knew was where we were, wherever I was at, that was a way that I could, tap in,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how I first started. And I started doing those presentations that folks have seen, where it's me on stage with a huge screen behind me doing a critical analysis of whatever's going on. And it just
Mm-hmm.
worked. And then, so that's kind of, but I've always felt like, whenever I'm in a conversation and they start talking about intersectionality, uh, what I mean, the academic stuff, I know we're not going to be talking about nothing that matters. Or as far as improving the condition of the people. Like I knew soon as the intersections show up, we start talking about triggers. I grew up around
Oh,
triggers. So
right.
we started talking about like I'm like, damn, like it really the academy is a safe haven for uh inactivity. It's a way that you can go and
Mm.
somehow do nothing but be doing something.
Something.
Yeah, and so I
Mm.
always kind of resisted it, but I thought the education was important. Of course, I'm not knocking education, but
Right.
I thought when it came to like, if you taking a $50,000 grant in the academy right now to do research to figure out whether or not racism exists, you're an asshole.
You wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be more significant to stand on the corner at 88th and East 14th and sell beans and rice that black people made. Just three
Mm-hmm.
black people boil some water and make beans and rice and sell it to black people would be more significant than doing a research project on whether or not racism exists, And
Mm-hmm.
so I came in to kind of, but I also saw great opportunity because you had students that for 4 years don't move.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, you don't even have to organize. It's like
They're
they're
there.
just there,
Yeah.
especially if they not in a city center, you know,
Right.
like in California, for example, UC Merced, them people just sitting there
They're there. Right.
for 4 years. They just there,
Right.
and that's a great
Right.
opportunity to engage. So that's what took me to the campuses. And then I started being asked and offered, positions as an instructor or a professor on campus. And at the time, I just felt uh, too young. I mean that in two senses. I saw that a lot of really informed professors in their 50s and 60s were kind of being outshined by the young, cool stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, we need, them folks. And I also feel like my homies start getting their PhDs and they 33, and 33 is young,
Yeah.
You could still hang wet laundry on your erection. You 33 years old. You a young, visceral man. You know what I mean? And and it's like, oh, I'm finna go teach about the shit that I just studied for 10 years. I'm like, no, go build a school. Go,
Yeah.
go build an institution so that your children don't gotta learn they African when they 18. They already know that. Go.
Come on.
How do we build around this stuff? And so for me, I was reluctant, and then but then I started feeling like it was not humble of me to not sit back and receive the fact that I was being invited by these institutions. Especially, I was being invited to come and build labs, to come do product development. So, for example, at the design school at Stanford, I teach a design class.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've developed an entire program there, and I've co-taught a class on intro to design thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a space to really design and build out what I'm doing, you know. And so the
Mm-hmm.
stuff at Stanford is cool. And in my experiences as a professor, the spaces I've gotten the most out of is being in spaces like Stanford and being in like junior college systems. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful to be able to, you know, move between those those spaces. And I'm 39, which I can't believe, but it's true. And I think I was a little more comfortable, you know, going, okay, I'm gonna do this now.
Mm-hmm. 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 You know, it's well, hold on real quick. I see Ash coming through with a question. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you her question because I ain't trying to get into this later on tonight. But she said, what kind of design? Because she's in awe of your background, so she's
Oh,
trying to figure out if you put
my
that
back. Oh,
together or
at my house. Oh,
yeah.
oh no. So right on. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I design and build my home here, but the design that I'm talking about is product design, um, system design, infrastructure design. So designing products and methods that, in my focus anyway, are all tied to ending health or dealing with health disparity prevention. So we've designed, at my firm, we've designed around, you know, new ways to make street intersections safer. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we've designed products. We're designing pieces in cannabis. At the design school, my students last quarter were designing around electric vehicles and access to electric vehicles, and also designing around cannabis. This year, they're designing. So forbidden design is design. It's called placemaking for the formerly impossible. So looking at industries that just 10 years ago, you couldn't even imagine this. And how do we design all of the systems and all the products that are needed for it to thrive and sustain in an equitable way as well as
Mm-hmm.
profitable? And so this quarter, they'll be studying, it's actually forbidden design, death, and marriage. And they're designing around end of life care. Like, how do we design around the end of life, which is an emerging industry? And then
Mm-hmm.
also all of this industry and tech that's around like dating and relationships. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're on a dating app, it don't matter if you on a hookup one or you on a deep relationship one. The reason those apps really exist is to mine the data
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
come and sell the ads. And
Mm-hmm.
so our students are redesigning around that. So to me, it's exciting stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Now that's, you know, that's all like super powerful. And I also think too, as we're talking about like this conversation from the lens of like being committed to like the community, this is also conversations that need to happen more of, because sometimes the conversations within our community get redundant. Like you said before, if we're taking money out to study racism, like what are we doing? We
Yeah.
know that there is an issue with that, but like how do we elevate to the point to where the weaponry that we have are these new age ideas that
Yeah.
like we squashing that just by being innovative and using our mindset. I think that's something
100%.
that is so powerful and revolutionary within, you know, the concept of that, to, you know, to begin with, bro. So that's super powerful, man.
Right on. Can I say something about this?
Please.
That when we, and it's not a diss to anyone who studies like or works around diversity and inclusion or racial work or works for a nonprofit or something like that. But for folks out there who have children, you know how you want to be able to move forward and not interrupt it when you're driving. So a lot of parents, they'll hand their kid a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
White supremacy hands us diversity, inclusion, and nonprofit work as that tablet so that they can keep moving. And then We paint murals on walls in neighborhoods we can't afford to live in anymore. We going to school and paying $80,000 in student loans to learn who we are, back to the white boy who stole who we were from us in the first place. All of
Mm,
this is it's a deep, comfortable trap.
mm,
And then also it's cathartic for white guilt because they get to go, oh, look what we did.
mm,
Look what we did. Even things that I hella respect, like I think Beyonce is amazing, and I think what she did a few years back at Coachella was beautiful, man.
mm-hmm,
That Baychella thing, and she
mm-hmm,
brought the HBCU vibe there. She
mm-hmm.
broke the record for the highest viewed streaming concert of all time. But
Right.
and they paid her $20 million. But Coachella is owned by a white boy Trump supporter. I love the Black Panther movie. Look at these visuals, crazy.
Mm-hmm,
Wakanda is owned by Disney and Marvel. Go
mm-hmm.
Google Disney board of directors. It's hella
Right.
white.
Right.
I thought what Kaepernick did was beautiful and hella bold. He got on his knee and that was the first day he did. That was powerful when he did that. And then when he got he did an undisclosed amount deal for Nike, where they gave him his jersey and they gave him this big ad campaign. Cool, but go look at Nike's board of directors. So these moments in the last few years, major moments in the culture, as we hear people talking, are
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily connected. They are positive, and they should keep happening. And again, shout out to what Beyonce is doing, and everybody who supports and love that, and Kaepernick, and the Black Panther movie. I don't take issue with it, but I don't think any Jewish person goes and watches Schindler's List and go, "Oh shit, we free."
No,
No, no,
not at all.
no, no,
And
no
and it's
Japanese person goes and watch a samurai movie and then act like they didn't just get a nuclear bomb dropped on them when my grandma was in the third grade.
you know what I mean,
It's on, but we be enchanted.
bruh. Hey man, that is a hell of a point. And the reason why I think it's so powerful is because just even to like your point about like the tablet metaphor. I think what has happened to us, what we have like been engulfed in, and what we have in love and learned and been conditioned to embrace, is symbolism.
Yeah,
Somehow, symbolism is equal to freedom
yeah,
within our community, and I think that is the greatest lie that
yeah,
has been told to us,
yeah.
and also the lie that we continue to perpetuate. You know,
But the
like
reason why, and Racy Lee asked a question I'm going to answer in a second. She said, "What should institutions be doing instead of hiring directors of diversity and inclusion?"
yeah,
Um, but so in the beginning, in the middle of the last century, if you were white, you felt like I'm Polish, I'm Italian, I'm I'm Irish, I'm Jewish, and if you weren't a white American Protestant, you really were being discriminated against.
mm,
And so America said, "Oh no, join the white American blur." And again, white, because you go and you look at them photos, Italians were standing up, stop discriminating against Italians.
yep,
Jews, they had signs that say no Negroes, Jews, or dogs allowed.
yep,
And Jews were standing up and they were protesting that. And what the white power structure offered them was the great white mediocrity. Just,
mm,
whatever, just be this.
mm-hmm,
And now they doing it to us. And then they also lift up. What did they do? Oh, Italians, you want to be in a movie? Here go the Godfather, bunch of gangster shit. Every Italian movie was murderous.
yeah,
I don't know no Italian science. Ain't no rappers naming themselves after Italian scientists.
nope.
When they be talking about Gotti and Gambino and Junior Mafia, they
Lucky
looking at a
Luciano,
they looking at a caricature of the white Italian male, and they going, I want to be that. Black
yeah,
folks, to a much more. But my grandpa used to say, when white people have a cold, black people have pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that to white folks, and they've done it to us in an even more crazy degree. And we salivate and seek white inclusion. When you hear diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's not a black power phrase. If you and me had to fight somebody, one person walk in there, I'm black power. And the other one go, I'm diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to fight this puny motherfucker right here. Black power sounds dangerous. You know, I want to fight DEI.
Right.
And
Right.
they hitting us with that. They
Yeah.
hit us with that, and they have so. Yeah, so I think that's that symbolism. When they made Juneteenth a holiday, I said, damn.
Mm.
And then Walmart made ice cream.
Mm.
And black people got mad, but I understood it. Shit, they got ice cream for
It's
every
like,
other holiday. Mother's Day
right.
ice cream, Father's Day ice cream, Halloween ice cream. Why wouldn't they have June? That's what you wanted. You wanted inclusion. So the Pilgrim
That's
included.
inclusion. That's
The Pilgrim
inclusion.
included you. He included you in aisle 7 because that's what
That's
you wanted.
inclusion. Damn.
That thing you included. What you not included? To the question of that Ise Lee had. I think the question is, what should institutions be doing instead of creating diversity, equity, and inclusion? Most white
Mm-hmm.
institutions did not say we're going to create diversity, equity, and inclusion. The people had this stupid idea. So we have to what we have to do is our ask has to become more mature. So instead of saying we want diversity, we want a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we say we want an equitable measure for what the hiring practices are here. And we
Yeah.
don't need to exotify a new director of that, because you don't have, like, if you go to Google is Asia and India all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have an Asian inclusion office. And way before, but what it was a real negotiated power around those things. And politics is the art of negotiation, and black people struggle because we don't have nothing to negotiate. All we have to negotiate is our struggle, how wrong you did us, and that's how this and they deserved it. This racial equity bill that passed for Asians.
Mm-hmm.
Because so if black people said, UCLA, you don't get it together, we're not coming here. You should be like, shit, whoo, I was giving y'all a lot of free money, and you get here and you can't even read.
Mm.
If Koreans were like, we're not going, they'll bankrupt the school in one semester.
Yeah.
So us having the ability to have something to negotiate beyond violence and
Yeah.
beyond sentiment is important. I hope I'm answering you, Tremaine.
No, that is, definitely. And I think that's something that's powerful, because for me, as someone who works in diversity, inclusion, and equity
I
work.
didn't know that. I'm sorry, Brad. I'm sorry. Tremaine, I love diversity and inclusion. I can't say that, but
but what I think it is that if it's truly going to be called something, whether it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, then I think we have to also answer the question, what are we including?
Yeah.
What does this look like, 4 years from now? Does the institution have a 4-year plan that they're dedicated to raise the percentage? Because we're mostly talking about predominantly in historically white institutions. This is where like this position really exists now. And this is like the big thing that's happening right now in the space of higher education. If 4 years pass and the black population, along with black faculty and staff population, and also admin and folks who have power to do and move things, if it still remains what it was 4 years ago, then that's the issue. That's the tablet. That's the tablet versus like, let's do something where we are including the kids alone to make them enjoy this car ride a little bit better. Let's call out whatever it is, just speaking on that metaphor. Let's do something to where like this becomes more enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah.
So as you said before, the ask is is not complete. We are putting a sentence on us at the end of something it's not a complete sentence yet, but we're putting a period right here saying like this is what we need, and it's deeper than that. It's deeper than
we have to have. I agree. We have to have a mature ass. So
gotta have a mature ass.
In the face of police brutality, we go.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. A mature ask is, and some communities go, so we like to play flag football with the police to heighten awareness and build relationships. Of course, this is laughable. But what is the reason that police kill and get away with it largely when it comes to legally anyway is because most police departments did not and do not have a policy on deadly force. So the question should be, what's your policy on deadly force? Because Black Lives Matter. Oh, you don't have one? Well, here you can hire this Black organization to institute what that looks like.
Right.
So that's an evolved and mature ask. You go to Macy's and you're like, Macy's doesn't have any Black owned clothing lines here. Black designers matter. Okay, cool. The mature ask is, in your retail spaces, we need non-negotiable 18% space on the wall.
Yep.
That new vendors and developers can come and sell their products in. Right? That's a mature and evolved ask. But if what we want is diversity and inclusion, the first thing the peer is going to do is like, well, let's hire some Black police. If you tell Macy's, diversity and inclusion, they're going to go, okay, well, we'll put Black people on Versace ads.
On the posters.
And as a heterosexual man, I want to give some warning to the LGBTQ community. What they doing to y'all is they going, oh, you want every major city in America has a gay district, but it ain't no Black-owned gay shops there. They like, no, we're gonna put a rainbow on Levi's. They doing the same tokenized thing, And at the end of the day, the people who are fed from that, with women, they're gonna go, oh, women, you want to be included in corporate America? Now you have the same opportunity to be an exploitive pig that the white man had. Not create a new thing that can push back against it. So those are the things I think about.
I think that's the way to look at it too. And another thing too, I want to say this. This is not something that does not happen unless you continue to develop your critical thought.
Yeah.
Because if you would have asked me this question even 7 years ago, I would have been waving that, hey, this, the DEI. I've been waving that flag heavy, and that'd have been good.
Yeah.
But as we continue to grow, we have to continue to develop and exercise that critical thought aspect of those questions. And this is something that's, as a parent, the questions that my 5-year-old hit us with are some serious ass questions. And there is an opportunity here for us to feed that question, to answer it, but to feed our 5-year-old so that she can ask an even more challenging question. Or we can take the mediocre route and just say, that's just the way it is, or just give her something where it just like completely shuts down that thought process.
That's beautiful, man.
What we have been doing, unfortunately, in our adult life is we've been settling on the question that shuts down that continued thought process, because we don't want to shake things up, Right. And if we want things to get better, we're gonna have to continue to shake things up. Just because you've grown don't mean that, people say this all the time, like, oh, well, it's the young people turn to do something about what's going on. What are they going to do without guidance?
Yeah.
So,
and it's lazy. Because if a brick of money fell out of the sky in front of them, it's the young people chance to get this money. No, they gonna run out in the street. They're gonna run out in the street.
Real talk. So I think overall, and the thing that I really wanted to talk to you today as we hollering at each other in this in pivotal month of Black August, and everything that has historically happened in this month pertaining to us and community involvement. It circles back to what I see you and the work that you and well as the other folks who work with you, why it's so powerful to me, because it is a light, like the light that's in the middle of the sea that helps ships come across.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like your work is a beacon for continuing to ask the critical questions.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And with everything that you've been a part of and what you continue to do, it all circles that back to me, man. So, before IG shut us off, because they will turn us off real quick as soon as the hour hit, they're like, all right, y'all black folks, shut up talking. It's time to turn this off. I wanted to one say thank you, but then also I want to leave this with asking you a few questions that are open ended, kind of fill in the blank spaces, and I think this would be dope because just everything that you've been a part of, man. I love to hear your answers from some of these questions. So we'll close with that one.
Rapid fire. I'm with you.
Rapid fire. Here we go. So the first one is, as a leader in Black thought, it is the most important thing for me to do is blank.
Develop a superior analysis before projecting.
Okay, so don't just get up and start saying shit because people looking at me to say something.
That's right. Yeah. ego make you answer questions. Somebody will ask you something, and you're like, oh, I'm the answerer of questions in this moment. Like. And so
Yeah.
so that would be my answer to that. I'm sorry. I don't
All
want
right,
to
no,
muddle your rapid
I
fire.
love it. No, I love it. I know it's rapid fire, but we need to let that one breathe a little bit.
Cool.
The most critical lesson I've learned in doing this work is blank.
That to do this work and expect gratitude is foolish, but when you do receive gratitude, cherish the moment.
Thankless work.
Bottomless pit of ingratitude.
Oh man! All right.
One time most of the time when I'm donating money, I do it anonymously or very quietly.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, I donated $20,000 to this organization, and they walked up on me as I'm going up on the stage to hand the check, and the person said, "You think you could do 25?" I wanted to take that check and break it over their head.
Jesus
Make some change. You want change?
Right.
I wish I hit it with this hella coins came. Right. I'm sorry. Rapid fire. I'm sorry.
Oh man! All right.
What's up, man?
Here's one. This one for the road right here.
Okay.
I want my legacy to be blank.
On the stone, I wanted to say, "Here lies a good brother."
Man. Yeah. Well, that you've definitely been that, man. You have been
Thank
that. To and through. Throughout the time, that's never changed. So yeah, we you got that one in the book, bro.
I hope so, man. In time. In time.
Indeed, man. Well, look, man, I appreciate your time.
Before it knocks us off, but before it cuts us off, can you hear me, man?
Yep, I got you.
I want to say to everybody watching this that Tremaine is the most decent, great brother. And what I appreciate about you, and I've always appreciated this about you, is that you're not a hater. That you have, even in your own ambitions, even in your own visions, you've always been a lover of the people, and not abstractly, the actual people who do and lift up the work. And I'm so grateful to witness this hour of what you're building in this trajectory of what you're doing. And in my meditation, want the growing audience that you build in the always know that you do it from such a great and awesome space. And I'm just so happy and proud of you, brother. And so right on, man. Congratulations on the
Man.
new show. And I
Hey.
look forward to being a fan and watching it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. We definitely we're gonna use this one as another opportunity to check in a little later, man. But bruh, I appreciate that, and I'm gonna take that with me and continue to serve humbly, bro, because
So,
that's what it's about, man.
peace, man. And bless you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, King. Take
Peace.
care, bro.
Bye.
All right, man. There you have it, my brother, my dear brother. Let me tell y'all something real quick that I've never shared this story public, and I want to share this story public. So this dates back 9 years ago. I am working at Cal State Northridge at the time, and I'm on a mission to propose to my wife now, girlfriend then. So, working in higher education, man, I wasn't making money at all. I mean, I was making like just enough to put gas in the car every week and get to and from the valley. So I decided to have this bright idea to get a second job while I'm working. And so I was working, took on a second job as working at a place called Sports Authority that's no longer in existence. But it's like a big five, Dick's Sporting Goods kind of spot. And my job was to unload the trucks that come in and bring in all of the equipment. And the only schedule that I can do has to be outside of the times of working from 9 to 5. So that schedule required me to be at Sports Authority at 4 a.m. and I'll work from 4 to 8:30 and then go to Cal State Northridge at 9 and work there from 5 o'clock every day. And that's what I did. And I was doing that for a few months because I was trying to save up to get my engagement ring for my wife. So at this time, Ice got some stuff going on. He calling me. And I'm like, I ain't got time for nobody. I ain't got time for myself at this point. So finally, we get a chance to rap. And he like, bro, what's going on with you? I say, family, I'm working in another job. He was like, what? Like, what are you doing? And I told him what I was doing. And the time I was working, he was like, bro, you are killing yourself. Why are you doing this? And I told him, he was like, okay. He's like, bro, all right. So you got a deposit on the ring now. How much more do you need to get this ring, bro? And I told him how much I needed. Fam gave me what I needed to get the ring. That's the kind of brother Ice is, man. That is the kind of dude, you know, the kind of committed, the kind of empathy and compassion my bruh has, man. And I don't know any people that will do something like that, and that's outside of relatives. But some of us, me, I ain't got relatives that can help me with that. So, you know, but he came through and became my savior because the plan for me was to propose to Ashley on her birthday. And because of Ice, I was able to do that. So, I love my brother dearly just because of the kind of person that he is. And when you have someone that does something like that for you, for me, it just made me want to serve in a similar capacity. I'm not someone that can, at the time could give someone, whatever money they needed to get an engagement ring. But to be there to serve someone so that they don't have to do things outside of the norm in order to get what they need. And I think that's something that's so powerful. So a big part of the reason that I do what I do is because of moments like that in my life where I had someone help me out in a time when I was in great need. So again, I love my brother sincerely. Um, and that's the kind of things that we need to be on to build this community, to be committed more to the community, not necessarily being in a position to give somebody money, but being committed to someone, being committed to a cause that's greater than us. And that's definitely Ise, man. So tap in. Thank you y'all so much for tapping in tonight. I know it's late, some of us, we got to get these kids ready for school and stuff. So thank y'all. Thank y'all very much for tapping in. If you're new to the space, be sure to just, click on that follow link, if you like what you heard tonight, because this is what we do. We do this. We bring interviews. We talk about real things that impact our community. So, if you want to keep this going, just be sure to tap on that follow, and we'll do our best to make sure that we keep bringing some dope content and dope interviews along the way. Y'all have a good night, man. Thank y'all for tapping in with me this long. Peace.